Hello, welcome to Local Matters. My name is Vicki Evans. The Wednesday after Labor Day weekend, September 7th, Tucson City Council will hold a public hearing on a new franchise contract with Cox Communications. Access Tucson, the only public community media center in southern Arizona, is concerned because the city and Cox have engaged in behind-the-scene negotiations, and Tucsonans are the ones who could lose a lot if the new license agreement isn't revised. So what's at stake? Well, the future. Millions of dollars for Cox and the quality of television, phone, and internet services for its customers. So we're going to learn more as we welcome Bob Kovitz. Bob, thanks for being here. And Bob is the principal at Renaissance Creative Services, serves on the Tucson Parks and Recreation Commission, and is the president of the Board of Directors of Access Tucson. And we welcome Lisa Horner, and Lisa is the executive director of Access Tucson and has been long involved in various media and media literacy training for young people throughout Arizona. So thank you both again for being here. Bob, let's just start at the beginning. Why should people care about this franchise licensing agreement between Cox and the city of Tucson?
Well, people should care because this is the only opportunity that people in Tucson have to let the city council know how they feel about Cox and Cox services, because Cox is using the public rights of way to build their infrastructure and deliver telephone and broadband and television to their customers here in Tucson. So this is it. This is the only chance that the people in Tucson really get at a public forum.
Well, a cable company always has a license agreement, right, that it works out with the governing entity, or in this case it's the city of Tucson. And is that process, in the past, has there always been more transparency?
Well, there's absolutely been more transparency. Right now, Cox is coming to the end of it. Their current agreement, which actually doesn't expire until June 30th of 2012. So although this is currently scheduled for the September 7th council meeting, we're in favor of holding up a little bit, opening this up so that everybody in Tucson has an opportunity to see this agreement and to let the council know their feelings about Cox's performance.
How long could this agreement be for?
They originally, I think, asked for 15 years. I think now that they've settled on 10 years, but it could be as little as 5 years or some other number depending on how negotiations go.
Right. And Lisa, I understand one of the issues that Access Tucson is concerned with is the loss, really, of 2 of 4 community programming channels. Right. And it's known as the basic tier, basic subscribers, those who don't get all the channels. And what does that mean, Lisa?
Right, the starter package, as Cox calls it. And that really allows the community to be able to connect with not only our channels, which represent individual input into politics, religion, culture, but also organizations, community organizations that are using this talk show actually to get their message out. But we're also partners with the city of Tucson that has their own channel. That's how people interact with the council meetings potentially, so they find out what's going on in government. And then, of course, TUSD has their own channel, so to be able to see kids performing, information about the school district, really important. So that's how people really get to connect with the community. What will change in this new agreement is from all of those channels, and Access Tucson is currently programming 3 channels, we'll go down to 1. So that's 1 voice for the community. There's only space for 2 channels on that analog most basic tier if I sign up and pay the basic rate. So that means city information, school district information, and the community channels are all vying for those 2 spaces.
What are the hands of the council tied at all in asking or requesting more basic tier community channels than the 2 that are?
That's what we're lobbying for, and certainly we've made our case and really tried to illustrate that in terms of importance. And we did a project in 2008 that was very critical to that most basic subscriber, and it was for the refugee community of Tucson. So they're relocated in these big apartment complexes, and they don't speak the language very well, if they do at all. aren't sure about the culture and how to interact. And so this program that was produced here actually provided people from Burundi in their own language information about living in Arizona and in America. And it was called Living Healthy in America.
And they used it just to teach the whole refugee community from that
Absolutely.
from that part of the world.
Absolutely.
All right. And we do have a clip of that, and we'd love to show you, so let's take a look.
Kubana amagara meza muri Amerika. Welcome to Living Healthy in America. My name is Edward Hakizimana. I am your host today. Here in the studio, we are together with Chief Todd. Welcome, Chief Todd.
It's my pleasure to be here.
The objective of the Living Health in America project is to help refugees and the other families to live healthy and to prevent injuries among children. Mu gihe bujya bwuma bupima umwotsi bukubyuye uryamye ku buriri byuka ja hasi pima umuryango upime umwotsi aho uca n'ubushuhe zibira hasi aho umwotsi uca guma uri hasi wunamye ugenda ugura mu idirisha hanyuma usohoke hanze. Let's take a look on a woman calling 911 after her child being injured.
Urabona ko yabaye gose gerageza uraba ukuntu uhamagara na hino wati
Ego ngenda bahamagare. Okay. Yeah, hello.
Emergency dispatcher, what's the address of the incident?
911 wakira telefone.
And what's the phone number you're calling from?
Ni hehe ushobora kuduha ahabereye iyo sanganya hariho ry'umuriro? Ni ingorane zahe?
Stay on the line.
Swahili. Guma ku murongo.
Hi, this is Local Matters. I'm Vicki Evans, and we were just watching a video about entitled Living Healthy in America, produced by Access Tucson and many of the refugee committee workers in our community, and how community channels on the basic tier of cable can really deliver important information. And we're talking with Bob Kovitz, who's the president of the board of directors of Access Tucson, and Lisa Horner, who is the executive director, about the upcoming license renewal between Cox Communications and the city of Tucson, where a lot of this could be lost. So Lisa, we talked about this, what we just saw demonstrated how important it is for information dissemination and actually to bring culture too. I mean,
Absolutely.
you know, that also did that. But there's a low income element to this too, that basic tier.
Absolutely. So those people would be left out. And we already know there is absolutely an information gap, the digital divide that really truly separates those people that have broadband service, have computer access at home, and those that don't. And those that don't have the expanded cable and digital cable specifically to their households. That is a great example, and I think that's what's lost is really those stories of who would not be able to afford that, even though it's relatively inexpensive if you have a job, you're working, you're not new to this country, but if you're on a fixed income, if you have issues, or there's individuals that just are not going to bridge that divide and be computer literate. It's just not going to happen for them, or are unable to. So, and I think that's another illustrative clip we have of actually a volunteer that used to work with this program, near and dear to all of our hearts, Frankie McDemmons, who she's one of those, we always say, the Frankie factor, who just does not have computer service at home, gets her information through the community channels about city government, about the community, about the school district.
All right, and let's take a look.
Well, I volunteer at Access Tucson, which is the love of my life, and I think I started volunteering there in 1998. And I have a neighbor, Lisa Jones. One day we were talking and she said, Frankie, would you be interested in being a guest relation person at Access Tucson? And I says, oh, Lisa, no. I says, I don't. She says, well, try it. You might like it. However, I'm a people person and I do love people. And having worked in the beauty shop for so many years, it just came natural to meet people. I watch Access Tucson because lots of times some of the shows, there are people that I know and have known for years. And then Access Tucson, it gives us a view of what the people of Tucson are doing.
Hi, I'm Vicki Evans. You're watching Local Matters, and we're with Bob Kovitz and Lisa Horner of Access Tucson, and we're talking about the license renewal agreement that's under consideration between the City of Tucson and Cox Communications, and why public input is so important in preserving local community programming. Bob, but let's talk about this license renewal agreement. What about performance audits and financial audits, so that Cox customers and the City of Tucson knows it's been getting, what it bang for its buck?
Sure, and this should be important to everybody in Tucson, because Lord knows the City Council is under fire right now for audits of Parkwise and decisions that were made about the 911 system. And this is an opportunity to do something right and not have to come back and have a redo over again. Right now, the agreement really doesn't clarify how Cox is going to determine how much they owe the city as a percentage of their gross revenue. The last time that there was an audit of Cox and what they owe the city, it was determined that they underpaid literally by millions of dollars. So again, we don't want the city to rush into this agreement on September 7th. We need to take our time, open it up for public transparency, and let's get these issues settled now instead of having to come back later and fix them.
All right. Let's talk about September 7th. It's a public hearing, Lisa. What can people do, to voice their opinion and to let their voices be heard on that date, or maybe beforehand?
Sure. They can show up for that council meeting, and if you've never been part of your government in action, it's a place for you to go, and as part of the public hearing, they can speak to council and say, here's my thoughts on this issue and what I would like to see in moving forward with this license agreement.
I also understand that there's been a kind of a grassroots groundswell. What is it called? Save Our
Community
Save
Media.
Our Community Media. And how do we SOCM? How do you find get in touch with them?
That's been organized on Facebook, so a excellent social media tool, and people can log on if they're a part of Facebook and find that site. They can also go to the Access Tucson website. There's a link there to a petition that just asks the City Council to keep this process open, give the public some chance for input on really the entire proceedings and how this moves forward.
Right. And Bob, we don't have a lot of time left, but what do you think about the efforts of the city to give public notice to this?
Apparently, the city's been negotiating this license agreement for 2 years now, and it's only been made public, if you can find it on the city's website, since August 12th. So we have to balance out 2 years of negotiations and 3 weeks of public notice, and we really think the public deserves more than that.
All right. And again, one last time, September 7th, 225 Alameda. And always go to Access Tucson's website at accesstucson.org or visit at 124 East Broadway. And I can't thank you enough. Oh, we've got the public hearing again, and it will be the public hearing on the new franchise contract with Cox Communications and the City of Tucson. And if you're at all interested in the future, we'd love to see you there. So thank you both so much. Time is up, and thanks again.
Thank you.